credit card statement came on a Thursday. I remember because Thursdays were always my day to handle the bills, had been for 38 years. Linda made her famous pot roast. I paid the bills. We watched Jeopardy. Our rhythm, our life. But this Thursday, that rhythm shattered into 1,000 pieces. American Express. I stared at the charges, my reading glasses sliding down my nose. Bellagio Hotel Las Vegas, 4 nights. Spago Restaurant, $385. High Roller Lounge, $520. Michael Kors Boutique, $1,200. All from 3 weeks ago, when Linda told me she was at a medical conference in Phoenix for her work at the nursing home. Phoenix, not Vegas. Phoenix. My chest tightened. Maybe there was an explanation. Maybe the conference had a Vegas component she forgot to mention. Maybe. Then I saw it. 2 plane tickets. JFK to Las Vegas. Linda Bennett and Marcus Chen. Marcus Chen. The name hit me like a freight train. Our son's best friend from college. The kid who'd spent Thanksgivings at our table. Who'd called me Pops. Who Linda always said reminded her of a young George Clooney. Except Marcus wasn't a kid anymore. He was 36, 26 years younger than my wife. I sat at our kitchen table, the same table where we'd celebrated birthdays, helped with homework, planned our future, and felt my world disintegrate. The pot roast smell that usually meant comfort now made me nauseous. I heard Linda's car pull into the driveway, her keys jingling at the door, her voice calling out that cheerful "Honey, I'm home" she'd said 10,000 times before. But this time, everything was different. "Hey, sweetheart," Linda breezed into the kitchen, setting down her purse, a new Louis Vuitton I didn't remember buying her. Her hair was freshly highlighted, blonde streaks that hadn't been there last month. She was wearing perfume, not the Chanel number buying her vibe I'd bought her every Christmas, but something younger, sweeter, desperate. "How was your day?" she asked, kissing my cheek like Judas kissing Christ. I looked at her, really looked at her, 62 years old, but she'd clearly been working out. New clothes that hugged curves she'd been hiding in loose cardigans for years. When did this happen? When did my wife become someone I didn't recognize? "Fine," I managed, my voice steady despite the earthquake inside me. "How was the nursing home?" "Oh, you know, same old drama. Betty in 304 threw her medication at the nurse again." She laughed, pulling out a cutting board. The lie came so easily, so naturally. How many other lies had I swallowed over the years, believing them like gospel? I held up the credit card statement. "Linda, what's this?" She froze just for a second, then recovered. "What's what?" "The Bellagio, Vegas, 4 nights, with Marcus Chen." The color drained from her face. In 38 years, I'd seen Linda scared maybe 3 times, when Michael broke his arm, when her mother died, when Sarah had that cancer scare. But this was different. This was guilt. This was someone caught. "Tom," she started. "Don't." I stood up, surprised by the steadiness in my legs when everything inside me was collapsing. "Don't insult me with a lie. I want the truth. All of it." She sat down slowly, like a defendant taking the stand, and then she told me. 3 years. It had been going on for 3 years. It started at Michael's wedding when Marcus came alone, freshly divorced. A dance, too much champagne, a hotel room, then secret meetings, burner phones, a whole second life I knew nothing about. "He makes me feel young again," she whispered, tears streaming down her face. "He makes me feel alive, Tom. When's the last time you really looked at me? When's the last time we did anything spontaneous?" The audacity. The absolute audacity of blaming me for her betrayal. I'd worked 60-hour weeks for decades to give her everything. The house, the cars, the security. I'd been faithful, devoted, present, and this was my reward. "Does Michael know?" I asked, my voice hollow. "God, no. Please don't tell him. It would destroy him. Marcus is his best friend." Was I corrected? Was his best friend. "And you were my wife." Seems like past tense is appropriate for a lot of things now. She reached for my hand. I pulled away like she was poison. "Tom, please. It was a mistake. I'll end it. I'll never see him again. We can go to counseling. We can fix this. Fix this." Like our marriage was a leaky faucet. Like 38 years could be patched up with some therapy sessions and empty promises. "Get out," I said quietly. "What? Pack a bag. Get out of my house tonight." "Tom, be reasonable." Reasonable. The roar came from somewhere deep, somewhere I didn't know existed. "You spent 3 years screwing a man half your age, our son's best friend, and you want me to be reasonable. You took our money, our trust, our life, and you threw it away for what? To feel young, to feel alive." She was sobbing now, mascara running down her face. "Where will I go? I don't care. Call Marcus. I'm sure he has room." The words tasted like acid. "Please, Tom. I love you. I made a terrible mistake, but I love you." I looked at this stranger wearing my wife's face and felt nothing but emptiness. "You don't destroy what you love, Linda. Now get out before I call the police and have you removed." She left that night with one suitcase, still crying, still begging. I watched her taillights disappear down our street and wondered how I'd missed it. 3 years of lies, 3 years of betrayal. How blind had I been? I sat in the dark house, surrounded by 38 years of memories that now felt contaminated. Wedding photos on the mantle, family portraits on the walls. The life we'd built together was a lie. And in that darkness, something changed inside me. I wasn't going to be the pathetic old man whose wife left him for a younger model. I wasn't going to quietly accept this humiliation. I wasn't going to let her waltz back into some comfortable life while I picked up the pieces. No, Linda wanted to feel alive. She wanted excitement. She wanted to play games. I was about to show her what happened when you played games with the wrong man. The revenge I was planning wouldn't be quick. It wouldn't be simple, but it would be absolutely devastatingly unforgettable. She'd spend the rest of her life regretting the day she ever betrayed Tom Bennett. Because I wasn't just angry, I was cold, calculated, and I had nothing left to lose. The first 48 hours I let everyone think I was falling apart. It wasn't hard to fake. I looked the part, unshaven, red-eyed, wearing the same clothes 2 days running. Linda had moved in with her sister Patricia in Connecticut. She'd been calling every few hours, crying, begging for another chance. I let her calls go to voicemail, let her stew in uncertainty. But behind the grieving husband facade, my mind was working overtime. I'd spent 30 years building a hardware business from nothing. You don't do that without learning how to think strategically, how to identify weaknesses, how to leverage assets. And right now, I was treating this like the biggest business deal of my life, except the product I was selling was pure devastating revenge. Saturday morning, I drove to my lawyer's office. Phil Hardwick had handled our business contracts for 20 years. He was expensive, ruthless, and utterly without sentiment. Perfect. Tom, he said, shaking my hand. I heard, I'm sorry. Don't be sorry, be effective. I slid the credit card statements across his desk. I want to know every legal option I have. Divorce law, asset protection, everything. Phil reviewed the documents, his face impassive. New York is no-fault divorce, so the affair doesn't technically matter for the split. But, given the circumstances with your son's friend, the duration of the affair, the financial expenditures, we can make her life very difficult. How aggressive do you want to be? Scorched earth, I said without hesitation. I want her to understand what she's lost. Completely. He smiled. It wasn't a nice smile. Let me make some calls. Over the next week, I became a ghost in my own life. I hired a private investigator, a former NYPD detective named Sarah Chen. Ironically enough, different Chen family. She was thorough, discreet, and found things even I didn't want to know. The report came back on Tuesday. Marcus wasn't just some passive participant. He'd been bragging to friends about his older woman, making jokes about upgrading from college girls to vintage wine. He'd taken photos, videos, some were on his private social media, visible only to his inner circle, but they existed. Linda, my wife of 38 years, was his trophy, his conquest, his joke. The rage that filled me was cold, surgical, good. Sarah had more. There's something else, she said, sliding another folder across the table at the diner where we met. Marcus has a girlfriend, 28 years old, kindergarten teacher, name's Emily Pritchard. They got engaged 6 months ago. Wedding planned for next spring. I stared at the photo of a sweet-faced young woman with auburn hair and a bright smile. He's been cheating on his fiancée with my wife? For the entire relationship, looks like. She has no idea. The pieces were falling into place. The revenge I was planning just got bigger. I called my son Michael that night. The conversation was surgery without anesthesia. Dad, you sound terrible. What's wrong? Michael, I need you to sit down. There's something you need to know about your mother and Marcus. The silence after I told him lasted so long I thought the call had dropped. Then, you're lying. I wish I was, son. Marcus wouldn't. Mom wouldn't. No, you're wrong. I emailed him everything. The credit card statements, the PI report, the photos Sarah had obtained. An hour later, my phone rang. Michael was crying. I can't believe this. I introduced them. He was my best friend. She's my mother. How could they? His voice broke. I need your help, I said gently. I'm not going to let them get away with this, but I need you with me. Are you with me? What are you planning? Trust me. But I promise you, they will remember this for the rest of their lives. Both of them. There was a pause. Then my son, my gentle boy who'd never hurt anyone, said, tell me what to do. The plan crystallized over the next 2 weeks. Phil filed divorce papers. Not amicable, not quiet, but a full legal assault. Every asset documented. Every joint account frozen. Every expenditure during the affair, itemized and demanded back. Linda's calls became frantic, but that was just the opening move. I reached out to Emily Pritchard through a carefully crafted anonymous email with proof of Marcus's affair. Photos, receipts, everything. I watched from a distance as her Instagram went dark, as the engagement announcement disappeared from Facebook, as Marcus's world started crumbling. Then I got creative. My hardware store employed 23 people. I'd always been a good boss, generous with raises, understanding about family emergencies, present at every employee's wedding and funeral. I'd built loyalty. Now I was cashing it in. Marcus worked in marketing for a mid-sized firm in Manhattan. Through some discreet inquiries, I learned his company was looking for a new supplier for their office renovation. My store wasn't big enough for the contract, but I knew someone who was, Jerry Morrison, who owed me for fronting him inventory during his rough patch 5 years ago. Jerry, I need a favor, and I need you to not ask questions. Anything, Tom, name it. I told him about the contract, told him exactly how to underbid the competition, told him that once he won it, there was one condition. Marcus's boss needed to know about certain photos circulating online. Workplace conduct policy violation, creating a hostile environment. Jerry was good at making problems disappear or appear, depending on what you needed. Within days, Marcus was on administrative leave pending investigation. Linda started showing up at the house. I'd changed the locks. The first time she saw the locksmith's work, I watched from the window as she broke down on the front porch. Our neighbor Karen came out, awkward and uncomfortable. Linda was begging to talk to me. I let her beg. Then came the masterstroke. Sarah Chen had found something beautiful. Marcus's parents. Wealthy, traditional Chinese family from San Francisco. Very concerned with reputation. Very unaware their son was a cheating, home-wrecking disappointment. I didn't contact them directly. That would be too obvious. Instead, I made sure certain photos and information found their way to Marcus's cousin, Jessica, who was active in the family's business and social circles. The kind of woman who couldn't keep a secret if her life depended on it. Family pressure works wonders. By the end of week 3, Marcus had lost his job, his fiancée, and his family's respect. Linda had lost access to all our accounts, faced a divorce that would leave her with minimal assets, and was being sued by me personally for emotional distress and reimbursement of funds spent on the affair. But I wasn't done, not even close. The real revenge, the grand finale, was still coming, and it would break them both in ways they never imagined possible. The invitation was simple, elegant, expensive, cream-colored cardstock with gold-embossed lettering. You are cordially invited to celebrate the renewal of love and life, a special evening honoring those who matter most. The Grand Ballroom at the Plaza Hotel, Saturday, November 16th, 7 p.m., black tie. I sent 300 invitations, every friend we'd made in 38 years, every relative, every business associate, Linda's entire nursing home staff, all our neighbors, Marcus's colleagues, former and current, his family, his friends. Michael and Sarah flew in from across the country. Even Emily Pritchard received an invitation. Though I suspected she wouldn't come, Linda called me confused. Tom, what is this invitation? Are we renewing our vows? Just be there, Linda. 7 p.m., don't be late. I hung up before she could respond. Marcus called too, his voice uncertain. Mr. Bennett, Tom, I got this invitation. I don't think I should. Oh, you should definitely be there, Marcus. In fact, I insist. You're the guest of honor. Well, one of them. The weeks leading up to the event were carefully orchestrated chaos. I hired the best event planner in Manhattan. Flowers, champagne, a full orchestra, a photographer, a videographer. I spent $40,000, roughly what Linda had spent in Vegas, with interest. My daughter Sarah was worried. Dad, what are you doing? This seems excessive. Trust me, sweetheart. Sometimes you have to spend money to make a point. A very public, very permanent point. The night arrived. The Plaza Ballroom glittered like something from a fairy tale. Crystal chandeliers, ice sculptures, a champagne fountain, 300 people in evening wear, mingling, confused but intrigued. I'd made sure the invitation was mysterious enough to guarantee attendance. People love a spectacle. Linda arrived at 6:55, wearing a new dress, probably purchased with money she didn't have anymore. She looked nervous, hopeful, desperately clinging to the possibility this was reconciliation. Marcus slunk in at 7:02, looking like a man walking to his execution. Smart boy. He dressed well for his funeral. At exactly 7:15, I took the stage. The orchestra stopped. Conversations died. 300 faces turned toward me. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming. I know the invitation was vague, but I promise tonight will be unforgettable. I smiled. The room was silent. 38 years ago, I married Linda Bennett. We built a life together. 2 beautiful children, A successful business. What I thought was an unbreakable bond. Many of you were at our wedding. You've been at our anniversary parties. You've celebrated our milestones. Linda's face had gone pale. She was standing near the back, clutching her purse. I wanted to gather everyone here tonight to share something important. You see, I recently discovered that for the past 3 years, Linda has been having an affair with Marcus Chen, our son's best friend, a man 26 years her junior. They took romantic trips to Vegas, spent thousands of my money on hotel rooms and dinners, lied to everyone here about where she was and what she was doing. The room erupted. Gasps, whispers, people turning to stare at Linda, at Marcus. I saw Linda's sister Patricia's face go from confusion to horror. I saw Marcus's mother cover her mouth, her eyes filling with tears. Now I know what you're thinking. Why bring everyone here? Why make this public? I pressed a button. Behind me, a massive screen lit up. Credit card statements, text messages Sarah Chen had recovered, photos of Linda and Marcus in Vegas. Nothing pornographic, but damning enough. Hotel receipts, a timeline of lies. Because, I continued, my voice steady and cold, I wanted everyone who's ever known us to see exactly who Linda Bennett really is. Not the devoted wife, not the caring nurse, but someone who could look me in the eye for 3 years while betraying everything we built. Linda was crying now, trying to push through the crowd toward the exit, but I wasn't finished. And Marcus, young Marcus, tell everyone. Do you want to tell them, or should I, about your fiancée Emily? The kindergarten teacher you proposed to while sleeping with my wife. She couldn't be here tonight, but she sends her regards, and her thanks for opening her eyes. Marcus looked like he wanted to disappear into the floor. His father, a distinguished man in his 70s, was staring at his son with pure disgust. But here's the beautiful part, I said, and now I was smiling. Really smiling. I've spent the last month documenting everything. Every lie, every dollar, every text. And it's not just here on this screen. It's on a website I created, thereallindabennett.com. Fully searchable, permanent. Anyone who Googles either of your names will find it. Future employers, future partners, your grandchildren someday. Linda let out a sound like a wounded animal. Several women in the crowd were comforting her, but many others had turned away, disgusted. I've also established a foundation in my late mother's name, the Margaret Bennett Truth and Dignity Foundation. I'm donating $1 million from the sale of our marital assets. It will provide support for people recovering from infidelity trauma. And Linda, darling, your name is on the website as the inspiration, forever. The room was completely silent now except for Linda's sobbing. You wanted excitement, Linda. You wanted to feel alive. Congratulations. You're the most alive person in this room. Everyone is looking at you. Everyone knows exactly who you are. I turned to Marcus. You lost your job, your fiancé, your family's respect, but that wasn't enough. So I also made sure that every major marketing firm in New York knows exactly why you were fired. Your career in this city? Over. Your reputation? Destroyed. All because you couldn't keep your hands off your best friend's mother. Marcus tried to speak. Nothing came out. I've also filed lawsuits against both of you for intentional infliction of emotional distress. My lawyers assure me I'll win. The money doesn't matter. It's the principle. It's making sure that every single day for the rest of your lives, you remember that actions have consequences. I paused, letting it all sink in. 300 witnesses to their humiliation. 300 people who would tell others. The story would spread like wildfire. So here's to new beginnings. I raised my champagne glass. Here's to truth. Here's to dignity. And here's to making sure that when you betray someone who gave you everything, the whole world knows exactly what kind of person you are. A few people, my true friends, my children, raised their glasses. Most were too shocked. Linda was being escorted out by security I'd hired, still crying. Marcus had already fled, his parents following with faces carved from stone. The party continued awkwardly for another hour. Some people left immediately. Others stayed, morbidly curious. By 9 p.m. the ballroom was empty except for me and the cleanup crew. Michael approached me slowly. Dad, that was intense. Was it too much? I asked, genuinely curious. No, Sarah said, joining us. She hugged me tight. It was exactly enough. She needed to understand what she did. They both did. I looked around the empty ballroom, at the wilting flowers and melting ice sculptures. It had cost me $40,000 and months of planning. But the look on Linda's face, the complete devastation, the realization that her reputation, her dignity, her future were all ashes now, that was priceless. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. I hope you're happy. You've destroyed my life. I deleted it. Then I blocked the number. I wasn't happy. Happiness was probably gone forever. But I was satisfied. Linda wanted excitement. She got a night at the plaza she'd remember forever. Every person in that room would remember. And every time someone Googled her name for the rest of her life, they'd find the truth. I drove home to my empty house, poured myself a whiskey, and sat in my favorite chair. 38 years was gone, but at least now, everyone knew the truth. At least now, Linda Bennett and Marcus Chen would carry the weight of their choices publicly, permanently, irrevocably. Revenge isn't always about violence. Sometimes it's about exposure, about making sure the whole world sees exactly who someone really is when they think no one's watching, and they would never ever forget it.